Okay, accept the tag on your page.
Mm-hmm.
Accept the tag on your page, Trina.
Hold on. Did it come to me? Yeah. Hold on. Wait a minute. Where
Hello,
is it?
everybody. This is Tiffany. We are talking today to Miss Katrina, my beautiful sister. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm blessed and I'm doing well. How about you, sis?
I am doing so good. I am tired. I'm ready to take a long nap.
I just got up from a nap, so I can't even say that.
Yeah, so I am excited to talk to you. Um,
I
you
mean,
you were one of the first people to read both books. So the reality check, the first release was out in 2018, and now I released it again with kind of the uncut version of a
mm,
lot of I don't want to say a lot of experiences, but I added some more juiciness to this book that I had
yes,
originally cut from the first release. So I am glad that I am able to talk to you for my first Fans of Reality Check interview. I'm excited.
yes. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Oh. All right, so let's back up to 2 years ago to the first release of Reality Check. Um, how was your experience with reading the first book, the first release?
Oh my goodness. I had to take a deep breath because I I've heard you talk about it, but when I got the book
Mhm.
and to really read it, I felt so involved and I felt like, my God, you are such a strong woman to go through this and just, to know you personally and to put the book and the actual words that you had said in person and with the book, I was overwhelmed because I was like, this is amazing. This should
Yeah.
be a bestseller. In my eyes, it is a bestseller because it's so much truth in it and it can relate to a lot of people
Hmm.
and a lot of people can get something from this going forward if they're going through some type of sexual abuse. And
Right.
I got that kind of testimony from it because I've been through abuse. So it was like a reality check. And that's the perfect name, reality check, because you talked about some real stuff that happened. And a lot of us we can relate to that. And that's what's good about the book because you can read it and understand it and say, wow, I've been through this, or maybe I know someone who's been through this. And you gave us a lot of feedback on the details, and the details were so exquisite. I don't know any other way to put it. It blew my mind, and it made me feel like I learned a lot more. And your experience, it really made me think back on my own experience, but I really felt this book cold heartedly.
Nice. Nice. That is, I mean, um, I know when the first release, it made me kind of nervous because I'm like, I'm putting out a lot of personal stuff, you know? And
Right.
so, um, people have asked me before, well, why don't you just write your own book, like a bibliography or something like that? And I haven't been able to do that for some reason. It's like every time I start writing my own story for me, um, I can't write it. It's just I have not been able to write it. So writing Reality Check was me kind of making up these characters who all represent experiences that I've been through. And so it was much easier for it to flow. It was much easier to do the story. Now, of course, not everything in the book is factual, but there's different experiences that I've been through, true
Hmm.
experiences that I gave to the characters. Um, so yeah, it's been interesting to get people's feedback, and I definitely um, appreciate yours because you are my sister. You're like a mentor to me. We partner with a lot of
Yeah.
things, but then you're an author too. So I really value your opinion.
Right.
I really do. I really do. And I think that people that have that have read it, who have come to me, they all pretty much say the same thing, that it was very realistic and they were able to feel the emotions of the
You
characters.
could feel the emotions through you could feel every emotion through your book. I mean, every chapter, I was like, wow, I really feel the emotions of every character. And it was like, I want to cry sometimes, then I wanted to kind of get pissed off real bad, because I was like, wow, I wish I could have been there. It
Yeah,
gives you good emotions, but it's the emotions that we need to show because that's how you heal.
right, right. So who was your favorite character? The first book release. We're just talking about the first book. Who is your favorite character?
Oh, gosh. Uh, I really, really, really. Oh no, what happened?
You disappeared. There
Oh
you
no,
go.
what happened? We dropped off. I was like,
Where are
wait
you
a minute.
going?
Like, where did I go?
You're
I'm
coming back.
sorry,
You're coming
people,
back.
but I can tell you in the first book, I feel like the character that really stood out to me was Jessica, because Jessica was like that friend who was there for you, and
Right.
she really she put out for you. She was there
Yeah.
for you. I have to say that that's like something, a best friend who has your back. Someone who
Right.
totally has your back. They feel your pain, they feel your sorrow, they feel all
Right.
the emotions that you're going through, and they're there to help protect you. And I feel that's like what Jessica did for you. Like, she was there. She was feeling your pain. She was by your side, and she was coming to your house, to your home, helping you with everything, even to cooking and to just helping you come through this and not having you feel like you were alone.
Right. Right. Well,
Does that make sense?
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And so not only did the characters live some of my true experiences, but the characters in the book are also based on real people. So Jessica is actually my real best friend from DC, from Maryland.
And that's
Um,
it.
yeah. So she was actually the first person that read my book. And she, since 2008 until, well, sorry, was it? Yeah, 2008 is when I wrote it
Hmm.
to publishing it in 2018. So that's almost 10 years since I wrote this
Yeah,
book that
10
I
years.
was just sitting on it.
And that's why I said she's my favorite, because you guys have been close for a long time.
Hmm.
And that is why I pick her as like my favorite out of the first book, because she was there and she comforted you. She was someone you could talk to. I mean,
Hmm.
she was just the all around best friend giving the good support. And I think that was awesome. That was
Yeah.
very awesome.
Yeah, well, she is definitely that, and she still remains to be that. And honestly, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have got the nerve to publish it. But she kept asking me, "Well, what are you doing with that book? What are you doing with that book?"
Yeah, see,
So,
see, I knew I
yeah,
chose the right character because she was just in everything, and she was just that person,
yeah,
and everybody needs a person like that, sis. And she was that one for you. She was just awesome. She was just so concerned, and she was devastated when she heard about it, and she was there all the way to the end. And I mean, that's awesome. And y'all are still friends to this day, so that
hmm,
truly is a best friend.
yes, yeah, yeah. Her and I, just like in the book, we have our ups and downs where we don't agree and we argue and we don't talk to each other,
Mhm.
but we always come back together eventually.
Yeah, that's all best friends. That's all best friends. You have
Hmm.
your ups and downs, and we come back together because we fuss each other and come right back together. That's how me and my best friend is. But sometimes we don't even talk. But hey, at the end of the day, let anything go down, I'm there.
Right, right,
And
right.
that's the same for you. I'm there. I'm there.
Well, that's good. I'm glad Jessica was one of your favorites. I think with the book, of course, Tony is more me in the book, but Denise is my favorite character in the book, in the first book. Um,
Okay.
yeah, for some reason, I guess because she's a youth and she's coming into her own and learning about herself, and she's very strong-minded. So, and when I first wrote it, she turned out to be one of my favorite characters in the book.
Okay, and you're correct. She was very strong. I do. That would be my second choice.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, nice, nice.
She's
So
definitely strong.
when you were reading the first book before the second one, because the second one doesn't really answer unfinished questions because there's, it's
Mhm.
going to be a series. But when you finished reading book one, like, did you have any questions? Was there anything that was still like, on your mind or, you know,
Yeah, there were some questions. Like some question was like, do you? I want to know how would you feel? How would you feel if that person who victimized you got out and you saw them today?
yeah. Okay. So this the last victimization that I went through, I
Mm,
did press charges and I
right,
did get reports about it, but I did not go to court. It was just too much for me emotionally. So
right,
I was I really wanted the scene in reality check in court to be like hyper sensitive, hyper emotional, and just
mhm,
very, you know, raw because I didn't get to have
right.
that experience myself personally. Um, so
Okay,
I think the book would have gone a whole nother way if he got off without spoiling it for people who haven't read it. But yeah, it would have gone a whole nother way.
okay,
You might have saw
right.
Psycho Tony and not Advocate Tony.
Is that exactly? And see, that's just being honest, and that's what I like about you. You're so brutally honest. I love that. And another question like I would ask: did like did was there anything with his family? Like, did his family try to defend him and say he's not that type of person? I was wondering because I don't remember seeing anything like that in the book.
Yes, so his family does come to his side, but not the way you might think they would. So yeah, his family did get involved. Hmm. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, because those are some of the questions. Like, I was wondering, like, was his family like going up against you? Were they trying to say no, he's innocent and he didn't commit this crime or anything like that? And then, when can I ask you something really personal, sis?
Sure.
Okay. When you say in the book, you talked about how you had stitches and things like that, and you were in a lot of pain. So with that experience, does that make you feel very insecure when it comes to intimacy? I mean, do you feel a way? Do you ever feel like maybe like some kind of insecurity when it comes to intimacy? How long did it take for you to get over that? That's what I want to know.
Um, to be honest, okay, so when it happened in real life, I was actually dating the twins' father at the time. It was very new,
Mhm.
so we had just started dating when it happened. Um, and so he was very, how can I say? He didn't force anything on me. I it took a while for me to kind of trust my feelings when it came to sex after that because
Right.
part of me felt like I should not have had any sexual feelings after just after being raped. So it took me a while to kind of let go of the guilty feeling of I'm still
Right.
attracted to someone and I still want to have sex. So it took me a while.
Yeah. I
Um,
I can understand that.
yeah, and if you've read Reality Check, our um, our survivor, she doesn't really have sex in the book either.
Right.
So
Mhm.
yeah, she has intimate moments, but she doesn't have.
Right. But
Yeah,
she doesn't have sex. Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, and
Exactly.
I think
And
if anyone, I know that you're a survivor too, and so I know that that's something that every victim goes through, you know, because what if you're married and you're raped, or what if you have a significant other or something like that, you know, or what if you're young and that's robbed from you? Because I lost my virginity to rape, so I never really had a real experience of losing my virginity the way I wanted to, you know. So it's like,
Right.
sex has always been skewed.
Yeah. You,
And
yeah. I mean, I think that's something that you and I both, we have kind of the same opinion. It took me a long time before me to trust anybody. So again, the book kind of helped me to some healing and to some more understanding. Your book gave me a deeper understanding with sexual assault too, because I came out with, I can recover. I can end up being a positive role model. So reading Reality Check gave me that kind of reality check that I can get over it, and I can initially be positive for other victims.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think if you've ever been through sexual assault or rape, um, your whole identity is kind of stripped, because that's very private and personal, you know, for your body to be taken in that way. Um,
Yeah,
so,
it
I
is
mean, and
very private.
yeah, and I remember just, um, you know, you have that dirty, nasty feeling, you know, afterwards, and that I don't. For me, sometimes I still get that feeling sometimes, because I'm very body conscious, you know. So
I
when it
think
comes,
so too. I So, Tiff, do you mean like in a way? Let me see if you experience some things like I experienced after my sexual assault. I
mm,
felt dirty all the time, and I felt like I never looked right, or I felt ugly. I felt
yeah,
very ugly, and I felt like I didn't want anyone to talk to me. Like I was very standoffish.
yeah,
I didn't like a lot of people coming up to me trying to, say, "Oh, you're pretty," because I didn't feel pretty.
right,
So
right,
I
yeah,
didn't initiate any kind of flirting. I didn't like any of that. I kind of went to a way of feeling like, can I just not date right now? I don't want to date anybody. I just
yeah,
want to be alone. I kind of wanted to be in a bubble by myself. Did you feel
right.
like that? Because I kind of got that feeling from the book that you did.
Yeah, I definitely withdrew within myself. From even the first time that I was raped to the last time that I was raped, I withdrew and kind of went into my own cocoon, because I just, both times it was by people that I knew. So it was even deeper violation. The first person, you know, is someone that I didn't like as a child. I just did not like this boy in the neighborhood. And then the last one was someone that I trusted that was working with me. So it's like, on top
Mm,
of you taking something from me I didn't want to give you, but you're also someone that
right.
I know, and it had gave you some kind of, you know what I mean? So it wasn't just the violation, it was just the disrespect, and the trust was just completely went out of, and then
Right.
you start to question
Right.
yourself about your choices, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You're right. It takes a long time to start back trusting a man and wanting to date, to even want to be alone. I didn't want to be in a room with men. Like I didn't want to be alone with a man. I had a fear of being around a man, like being alone with any men. Like if
Yeah,
we were somewhere and it was more men, I was very uncomfortable and I would want to leave.
yeah, yeah. Well, one thing about Tony in the book is that she wanted to continue working, and she was an advocate herself, you know, because she was working in social services. So she was still helping other people and trying to heal at the same time. And
That's
so,
right.
she really didn't have the choice of withdrawing from people, because she was still helping people.
Yeah,
Um,
because you still work.
yeah.
She
Now,
was
me
still working,
personally,
right? She was still working.
yeah, me personally, I don't think I could do that if that happened. Me personally, so Tony in the book is the stronger me, you know, because me personally, I don't know if I could have gone back to work after, I think it was 5 weeks in the book.
You're right. You're right. And that was very strong for her to go back to work and continue, to work with people. I'm like you. I don't think personally I could be like Tony and do that because, yeah, I was weaker back then. And she was very strong and very brave to do that. So I really liked that part about Toni, that she was brave enough to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, Toni is, I would say she's probably my alter ego, strong Wonder Woman. That
You have an alter ego. All right. Go ahead.
now I do have another little, I have a devil on my shoulder, and this Tony's the angel on my shoulder.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you know what? I could probably say that too. I have a good Katrina and I have a bad Katrina. One, you
Uh-huh.
know, it goes up and down sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So my
But I
question,
try, hmm?
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I said I try to stay in the best standing though. But
Yeah.
yes, yes, this is what we getting ready to say to me.
Okay, so you've read the first reality check, and I know that you're reading the second reality check, A Survivor Story. Do you notice the difference, or is there big of a difference, or what do you think? For those that have read the first one, the second one, do you really notice a difference, or do you notice the additions?
I think in the second one, well, my goodness, is so more blunt and so more uncut and things. I feel like you can see that the person really came over and got stronger from the first book and was very bold. It was boldness. It was some boldness, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad you noticed that. That there it was stronger,
Yes.
it was more bold, it was more raw, it was more like
And yes, very, very much so. Girl, very much
good.
so. It was very raw. So that's why I have to say boldness in all capital letters. It was
Yeah,
boldness and it was definitely raw.
yeah.
A big difference to me from the first one, and it had me just like this.
Yeah.
Girl,
Yeah.
I was like, wow. The thing about it, because one and this one is so important, I'm like, man, I'm about to take this book and I'm about to let everybody read it and tell them they need to get this. They need to get this. This is something they need in their life.
Well, that's
I
good.
have
That's
told a lot of
good.
people about this book.
Good, because I know that was my one concern was that people that read the first book weren't going to want to read the second one. But there is a difference between the two. So,
It's a very big difference. Yes.
yeah, good. Well, I'm glad that you saw the difference and you felt the difference because if not, then that would totally defeat the
I
reason
felt
for
it.
me.
I
Okay.
felt it after the first couple of chapters.
Okay.
I felt it after the first couple of chapters. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is
Okay,
very
great.
bold and this is very raw. But that's what needs to be said, and that's how it needs to go because that keeps it going and that keeps people saying, you know what, I need to get this book and have it in my possession. Because I
Right.
didn't already told my sister about it. I didn't tell some people about it. And I'm like, y'all need to get this. Even if you download it on Kindle, come on. I need you to
Yeah,
get it.
yeah. Um, well, that's great because we have a couple of people that are watching, like Tammy Thomas and McQuan Fortune. I know that both of them have the first release of Reality Check, so it's good to hear it from you. This was not scripted. This is how Katrina felt. Is she said that she definitely noticed the
No,
difference between the first one and the second one. So that's great. That's great. It has achieved what I wanted it to achieve.
yes, it has achieved it with Katrina Thompson and will achieve it with all of you readers. Go and get it, please. Go and get it because this is a wonderful book and you're going to be like this. Let me see, reality check. Let me show you. Reality check.
Yes, Reality Check 1.
So get it.
And this is the latest version, the
Yeah,
uncut
that's a new
version.
one. I was just showing the first one. Yeah, the other one in there somewhere. Girl,
Yeah.
Girl, I'm such a big fan of yours. I cannot stop being a fan. And I just say this much: you're doing it. You're doing it, and you need to do what everybody wants you to do. Your biography, you do.
Aw, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So let me see. What other questions? Now I'm the writer. Do you have any other questions? I know you had the ones that we already talked about. Did you have any other questions? Now that you're reading two, do you still have any questions out there?
Well, I just want to know this. some of the things that were said, woo-wee. I mean, like, what made you come up with these things? Because it was, like you said, it was so raw. I just want to know, like, where? I mean, like, you went from one to you was a little subtle and a little bit bold, but this you went all the way bold. So what really brought you there? I mean, what brought Tiffany to this character of making her so bold and so raw? I just want to know because, girl, you went in.
Well, the best thing I can say is that, you know, I feel like, I mean, I have closure because I did press charges against him and it went through the whole thing. But I hate to say I was a punk because I won't say that. Maybe it was fear of facing him. And so
Okay.
when I wrote the book, this was after after the lawyer that I had or whatever, talked to me and let me know what was going on. I wrote this book with a lot of emotions. And so the second release, you're getting all of those emotions within a year or two after what happened.
Right.
So,
Right.
you're getting a lot of emotions.
That's true.
Now
That's
you know the
true.
more
It was a lot
tamer,
of emotions.
you got the more tamer me now.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That was the raw and uncut, and I mean that's just the best way to say it. And I just feel like you did what was necessary to make your readers understand where you were coming from.
Yes, I did. I did. I definitely think that was accomplished. So yeah, good. I'm happy. I'm happy to know that reader, you read one and now you're reading two and you're enjoying it even better than one. That makes me so happy.
Yes.
Okay, all
I can
right,
really tell you
great.
two. I feel like two has more excitement and more
Mhm.
drawing you to the book.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so I am gonna ask you this because the other thing that I was worried about when writing or when releasing the first one is that there's different issues in the book. There's different personalities, there's different ages, there's different preferences. Was there anything in the book that like put you off? Because I know some people might read it and be like, "Whoa, this is," you know. Was there anything that kind of put you off at all?
Uh, well, let's see. Yeah, some some of the characters were a little where I was like, "Good God Almighty!" Some things, some things that was worded, I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was like, I don't know if I would have said that. So again, I feel like you stepped in a ground of like, here it is, and I'm gonna put it right there in your face.
Right. 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 Okay.
And I was like, okay, Tiff, you really are going in on this. And I felt like the characters were, how can I put it? The characters were just more intense. So it kept me intense as if I was sitting in front of a movie screen to say, oh my God.
Good. I'm hearing that from everybody. I'm hearing that it was intense. It was an intense read, and that there was a lot of moments like, what?
Yeah, there was a lot of odd moments because I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh my God.
Right.
Even this, I'm going to be Mr. Brown. What the what?
Right. Yeah. My mom and the way I described her in the book is the way she is. She is very like, no, this is the
And
way
that's,
it's
I
supposed
was
to be.
concerned. I was really thinking, is your mom really like that?
Yeah, she's pretty open with her opinions and how she feels about things,
Wow.
especially if it's something spiritual. Yeah, she's gonna let you know that she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't approve, and it's gonna be followed by scriptures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
but that's a good
Okay.
thing. That's a good thing
Ooh.
for it.
Yeah,
I
that's a good thing. It's not a bad
you
thing.
you never second guess what my mom says. You never have to
Oh,
second guess her.
wow. Okay.
She's gonna
I
tell
was
you how she
wondering about
feels.
that too, because your mom was a little vocal. So I was like, okay. That was one of the moments like, I was like, oh,
Yeah, she was a little vocal, but she always means well. It's always with love. So yeah,
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 exactly.
yeah.
That's what mothers do. That's what mothers do. My mom is the same way.
It is. It is. Yeah, your mom is hilarious. Remember she had us laughing in tears the last time when me and Cedric were there.
Yes.
Hi, mama.
My
How
mom
you
is very funny.
doing?
Exactly. She is very funny. She's very vocal. She speaks her mind. She says
Uh-huh.
whatever comes out of her mouth is what she means, okay?
Yeah.
Dolores
Yeah.
don't play.
All right.
So
So I have one
it's
more.
that the character for your mom, that's kind of what I got. Is like you gonna listen to what I say no matter
Yeah.
what, and I'm gonna say it no matter if you like it or not.
Right. Right. Yep.
I'm just
Yep.
gonna be brutal like that with my voice and tell you how I feel. I got
Yeah.
that from the book.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she'll pray about it later.
Mhm. Shit, yeah, we'll
Yep.
go repent on that later. But right now, I need to say what needs to be said.
Right. Right. That is her. That is definitely her. I have one more question for you. Whose story do you want to read next? There's two other main characters. There's Denise and Melanie. Who would you like to read about next?
If you were to do another part, I want to know more about Melody.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Well, I'm not going
I
to
think
spoil
that would
it.
be good.
I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going
Hmm.
to tell you who's next.
No, no, you don't have to tell me who's next because I'm just gonna pray that it be who I said it was. Because
Hmm.
I would love to see you do some more about Melody. I think that would be exciting. I think that would. I think a lot of your readers are like that. Actually, I'll see when you do some more interviews what they say, but I say Melody. I
Okay.
really
All
do.
right.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
We
do.
will see. We will see. So, this is not just about me. That's what I say on every live interview I do. It's not just about me. It's about you too. You're an author too.
I am. I am. I
Tell
am.
us tell us
And
the name of your
I'm
book.
so proud
Tell
of
us about
that
it.
because this is my first book,
Hmm.
and it's not like your book, but it's raw. I don't think
It's
I was.
raw.
It's very raw. It's about my situations, and it's about what I've been through with my sexual assault. And unlike Tiffany, I've had some real down moments, and I was real raw as far as what I went through. And that was like basically, hey, it was the journey towards my purpose. Because see, the thing about Katrina is that I wasn't always this little quiet Katrina that y'all see before y'all.
Mhm.
My situation has taken me down roads where I was really dark, and I was in a place of trying to hide my hurt and my situation that happened with my sexual abuse, because it took some years for me to come out with it, and I still haven't really named who it was, due to the simple fact, understand, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to hurt some folks. And
Right.
that's where I am with mine. But I did tell you how I kind of went through life of going through dating the wrong people and dating them for the wrong reason, and what I did with some sexapades, type of things that I did. I mean, I was just really all around raw and not even knowing anything about God, not trusting anybody. I didn't want anybody to love me, and I wasn't going to love them back. So I was a ruthless type of female right then and there, who was
Gotcha.
hiding behind the shadows. And those shadows was just, they almost killed me. They really did.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, what's the name of the book?
Journey towards purpose.
Journey Towards Purpose. Perfect. Perfect.
You
And
can look it
this,
up on Amazon.
yep.
You can look it up on Amazon. You also can go on Kindle. And the reason why is that title is because guess what? We're talking about going from a woman who was outrageous, who was doing things sexually to anything in the world that wasn't of the world. You understand? To get by and to get over her feelings and to act as if nothing happened and to make people feel like, yeah, I could be loving, but I didn't want to be that person because I was hurting inside. So I was trying to keep the hurt deep inside of me and not let anyone see it. So I had to have a mask on, and that mask was to be somebody who I really wasn't. But
Okay.
now that mask has been taken off, and I'm to my purpose, and I'm that journey of that darkness has taken me to my purpose.
I love it. I love it. I really do. Um, you have been an exceptional friend. You have
Thank you.
been my new sister and love bug, and you've always supported
Oh,
me, and I'm always going to support you. So
yes.
we could not have done Reality Check or fans of Reality Check without talking about Journey to a Purpose, because that just would not have felt right.
Is
I'm
without a
always going to
doubt. I
support
mean,
you.
journey towards purpose is everything, and
Yes,
journey towards purpose is everybody's story really that has been
yes,
in a sexual abuse type relationship with anybody or been raped, because it's a dark road, and then you coming to that dark road and you're coming to the light. You're learning to love yourself. You're learning to award yourself for coming through, for even coming through, for even recognizing and understanding and dissecting that darkness and turning it into favor, into purpose, into understanding what you are now today and why that situation made you stronger and wiser for this future and for this advocacy that I'm doing now. That is what this book has done. Okay, and shown you that Katrina has no longer let her situations be her. I have overcame the situations to be a bigger and a better person, and to know that God saved me, but I also saved myself because I recognized and I stopped denying and I took accountability for the things that I've been through.
right, right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Miss Trina. I
You're
love you.
welcome.
I love you.
I love you more.
Um, I appreciate you supporting me. I appreciate you reading Reality Check, the first release, and now you're reading Reality Check, Book One, A Survivor Story. Please,
Yes,
please, please, um, just let me know. I'm here for you, and I appreciate you very, very much.
I love you. I
Thank
love you
you.
just as well, and I'm always going to have your back, sis, always.
Thank you so much. Tell us where we can get Journey to a Purpose.
Journey Towards Purpose, you can get on Amazon. You also can get it on Kindle, $14.99. And I think we actually went down on it a little bit now. So it's some other women in the book as well. But when I tell you, these are some deep stories from women who tragically been through so much, but God is the overpower. And that's why we say Journey Towards Purpose, because this is 9 women who are very amazing and doing such awesome things in the world today. They have their own organizations. We all are helping others to become bigger and better in their purpose. We are all recognizing that this is a unity thing, and this is why this book was done with those 9 women, because it's a unity. You have to recognize things for what it is, and you also have to recognize you cannot come through anything by yourself. So when you do come through, reach back and get some of your other sisters and help them come to the front line as well.
Nice, nice, nice. Thank you. I need to make sure that I get a copy. So when we get off, please put the link to the book on the comments for the video so they can find it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will go and get it
Okay.
myself so I can read it. So I love you. Thank
Amen.
you everybody for
I
watching
love you
Fans of
too.
Reality Check with Miss
Thank
Katrina.
you.
For today, for the rest of the night until I believe probably 6 o'clock in the morning, if you use coupon code Trina, Trina, on my website, www.tiffanylbrown.com, then you will get 25% off my book. And it's on sale already. So you're going to get it for pretty much nothing if you want a paperback. Or you can go to Kindle and download it on Kindle for $3.99. Thank you so much, guys, and have a good night.
Amen. God bless. Love y'all.
Love you. Mwah.
Love you too, sis.